Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sports Betting Truth. And we are back on the horrible censorship website known as Reddit that I am permanently banned from, device banned, and IP banned from. Anyway, we have a post today from user Ephemeral Dread, who's asked, how do arbitrage and plus EV bettors get limited and banned from sportsbooks? Question. I keep hearing about these betting strategies, but I also always hear about users getting banned and limited. How can they determine you're someone who should be banned and limited? Is it just because they're making too much money? Does this happen to anyone who makes too much money? Or is there another clue for them to ban these people? That's a great question. So, if you've watched my videos over the years since I started this channel, I am anti arbitrage betting. Not so much because I don't like the process, but I just think it's the equivalent of fishing with dynamite, so to speak. It kind of just takes the sport out of all of it, and I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze. You have to have money in a lot of different books, which exposes yourself to more risk, and it's just a lot of work trying to pick off those slow moving lines and the arbitrage opportunities. And the profits, when you do take advantage, can be pretty small. Not worth it, especially if you end up getting banned and they take your money at one of the books. It's not worth the hassle. So I've always said just don't bother. But a lot of people still do it. And I think the people who do it overrate arbitrage betting. It's really not as great as people make it seem. Like I said, the margins are very small. But anyway, he wants to know how arbitrage bettors and people who bet plus EV get limited and banned from books. Well, that's pretty simple. Most sports books worth a damn are going to have some pretty complex software out there that kind of like analyzes the bet history of all of their bettors because they want to put you into certain buckets. I mean, every industry is like this. I work in marketing and advertising consulting these days, and like it's crazy how every single customer in a CRM database, which stands for customer relationship management, has their own profile, like based on everything they do. It's crazy how many different variables out there exist. I mean, you think you're not a part of that? Guess again. I mean, these marketing and advertising, these companies know everything about you. They seek to segment you into various segments so they can target you. Sports betting is no different. They want to segment their player database into different segments to figure out how to squeeze the most money out of them. And if they have you in a segment where they're like, this person's going to squeeze more money out of us than we're going to squeeze out of him, then they're going to limit you. They're going to ban you. That's just how it works. You can say it's unfair or not, but you have no constitutional right to sports betting. So these private sports books can do what they want, as stupid as it is. It's their right to ban you and limit you for any reason. They have no law out there that says, they can't ban you. It's dumb. And in a free market society, ideally, people would just not deposit money in those sports books that are too quick to limit and ban. But that's just how it is. It's how it is. So that's how they get limited and banned from books. They just have software. All these books, they have software that's going to collect the lines from all the other books out there, so they can analyze if you're catching these slow moving lines, if you're mainly betting lines that are arbitrage lines. Like, they know. They're not stupid. They know if you're going to be catching these exposure or these opportunities where the books that are exposed. They're going to know, and they're going to limit and ban you. Like I said, a lot goes into the customer relation management side of things, and sportsbooks have them themselves. I mean, even the local bookies, like I said, I used to have a neighbor when I lived in Las Vegas who was a bookie, and he didn't have a lot of customers, but the ones he did have bet a lot, and he knew, me with my sports betting channel. He's my neighbor. He was always knocking on my door or calling me or texting me, like, saying, hey, this person's betting this way. It's kind of worrying me, So, like, he would always have me analyze the betting of his clients, which was kind of funny, and most of the time I'd tell him not to worry. They're not doing anything special. But if, my bookie neighbor was freaking out about his like dozen customers, then these bigger sports books that do a lot more volume are definitely going to be on top of what their customers are doing. So that's why I don't think arbitrage betting is worth it, because you're probably going to get caught and you're probably going to be banned. And if it's an offshore book, you might not see the money you had deposited. So it's a risk. It's definitely a risk. There is a downside to it. So let's see what the comments say. So Tur Daddy says, some books will also limit and ban you if you only just play promos and odds boosts on their site. They see you as an advantage player, not a recreational bettor. That's true, and I do think, I mean, if you're only playing promos and odds boosts, there's nothing wrong with that, but like I said, it comes with the territory. So you got to be careful of doing stuff like that. Boldest makes a good comment. Boldest Kabold, isn't this the same reason so many restaurants get rid of things like unlimited wing nights? All it takes is a handful of customers who come in and abuse a promo and the bar starts losing money. That's exactly why. That is a perfect analogy. Lifting Stuff says, Sportsbooks pay for software that shows the line history of all major sportsbooks. They have a software that identifies if you're picking off a slow line, exactly what I said. They do audits of the closing line value of each bet. Most also have an ROI audit threshold. Accounts that trigger one or more of their audit limits get a manual review by a trader. From there, the trader makes a decision on what further actions to take. Close the tab. There is nothing more to say. Lifting and Stuff nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. I mean, I shouldn't even bother with the comments anymore, because, I mean, he said everything that needs to be said. Down to the T. But Standard 414 says the same thing. Most EV and arbitrage plays are the result of slow-moving odds providers. There you go. If your account constantly hits the slow lines, then you're easy to flag. Like I said, these books have software to know where their exposures are when it comes to slow-moving lines. DJ Entlight says, what kind of volume do you need to have to be moving to get noticed? Asking because I have several friends working with $25 to $50 units and consistent ROI that haven't had issues, so I'm curious how big the big fish are. 5 years ago, I would have answered this question differently, but honestly, they'll ban $10 bet accounts these days if you're only betting 10, 20 bucks, because it's not how much you're betting now, it's how much they think. If they think you have an edge, they don't give a damn how much you're betting. Because they're like, okay, this guy might be betting $10 or $20 now, but he has an edge. If he all of a sudden starts betting $1,000, $2,000, then we're screwed. So yeah, you can be absolutely limited betting $10 a bet. Fitters225 says, I wish there was a minimum threshold that the new state books had to abide by. For instance, BetRivers has limited me to $20 or less bets, and they always get sent for referral. Afterwards, the line usually moves. Seems like they flag certain players to identify their own slow-moving lines. Well, the problem, Fitters25, is these books are private companies. So they can do what they want. I know it sucks, but there's no laws or anything like that out there that could put these people in their place. The solution is for people just not to play at BetRivers. Screw them. And if enough people take their money out at BetRivers, maybe they'll stop limiting people. That's the solution. But anyway, that's just another truth about arbitrage betting. It's not as great as people make it seem that it is. It's really not the gold mine people say it is. So honestly, I just don't think it's worth it. I mean, if you want to spread money across a bunch of different books and try to pick off ARB opportunities, go ahead. I just don't think the juice is worth the squeeze. But that's just my opinion, man. Anyway, that wraps it up for this edition of Sports Betting Truth. Stay tuned right here for grift-free sports betting discussion. No grifting here. I will see you guys later.